Hey there, and welcome back to Train Them Up. My name is Allie, and today we are going to take a look at Gather Round's brand new unit. Yes, that's right. The wait is over. Finally, we get to take a look at Middle Ages. Before we take an in-depth look at Middle Ages, I just wanted to let you know that this was definitely worth the wait. Originally, this unit was scheduled to come out at the beginning of year 3, which was last fall of 2021, and due to some scheduling changes, some staff shortages, a international road trip to the United States, Rebecca decided to switch things up, and she worked so incredibly hard on this unit. And as someone who absolutely loves the Middle Ages and knows a lot about the Middle Ages, when I read through this unit, I was blown away by it. It is so well done, and I just want you all to know that it is worth the wait. There's a lot of pressure to put out curriculum and for it to be absolutely perfect and for everyone's wants to be met, and there's a lot that goes into making curriculum. Gather Round is a very robust curriculum because you have over 9 subjects that are being explored in one particular topic. And with this particular unit, you have the Middle Ages, and there's so much going on. It is really great to be able to dive into this unit. It's taken me a while to get this video up because one, we were out of town, but 2, I was just taking the time to soak in all of the amazingness. And if you haven't ever watched my videos before, I am a nerd, a Gather Round nerd. I like to read all of the teacher guides that come out, even if we're not doing that unit, because I'm a nerd. So with that said, I highly recommend this unit. It is so well done, and it doesn't feel like it was forced at all, which I was kind of concerned. I don't know, like I guess I was more concerned for Rebecca and all of the pressure that she has been under lately to get out all of these units, and she's just been running the race really hard for 3 years now. Yeah, I didn't feel like any part of this curriculum was forced. I'm sure there were hours and hours and hours of prayer that went into this unit because she has said that it was a struggle, and I believe it. There's a lot going on in the Middle Ages, and yeah, I really think that it is worth the wait. Well, let's flip the camera around and I will show you the teacher's guide. Here it is, Gather Round's Middle Ages. And this is the teacher guide. I also printed off the early reader level as well as the early elementary manuscript seatwork journal for you to look at. If you want to see other levels, please let me know and I'd be happy to show those to you. So let's take a look in the teacher's guide. Of course, there's a copyright page, note to the teacher, the Gather Round difference, and a day with Gather Round Homeschool. Essentially, Gather Round is a family-style curriculum where it is Charlotte Mason based, and you just read from the teacher's guide for about 5 to 20 minutes, depending on what levels your students are attention span wise. And I'll touch on that in just a minute. So you just read from the teacher's guide, and then you can have your students work in their student notebooks. And that can take anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes, depending on what level your children are at. So how long does it take? Well, reading wise, there's 3 different levels, and those are bracketed, and this is in the teacher guide. So yellow sections are for a level 1 attention span. So that is your pre-reader and early reader. So if you only have a pre-reader or early reader, you're probably just going to want to read the yellow sections. Now, if you have a level 2 attention span, which is elementary, early and upper elementary, you're going to read both the yellow and the teal sections. And that should only take about 10 minutes to read. Now, for your middle schoolers and your high schoolers, you're going to be reading the purple bracketed sections, which will take an additional 15 to 20 minutes. Now, what I typically do, since I have a 2-year-old and I nanny for 4 boys who range in age from a year old all the way up to 12, I typically will read the yellow section, and then I'll have the older kids read the teal or even purple sections themselves. So this is a really, really great way to feasibly break down the different sections and the content. And especially with the middle ages, there are just going to be some subjects and content that aren't appropriate for those younger levels. Supplies, like everything else from Gather Round, you essentially just need an atlas globe, a pencil, pen, colored pencils, watercolors, or paint, a Bible, resources for research, blank pieces of paper, very basic homeschool necessities and supplies. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next page here. If you haven't tried out the MP3 teacher guide, you should definitely try them out. They are awesome. We really, really like them. If you don't like to read aloud, this is the way to go. And here's your recitation. So here you go. You have the purple bracket, and then your yellow bracket, and your teal bracket. So this will be for the pre-reader and early reader levels, and the yellow is for early and upper elementary, and then purple again is for middle and high school. And I am just so excited for this unit. I've been waiting ages and ages for the Middle Ages to come out. I absolutely love this unit, and I am really pleasantly surprised. I know Rebecca Spooner said she was struggling to get this done, and it didn't feel forced at all. It has a wealth of knowledge in here, and it's very well done. So bravo, Rebecca, you are a rock star, and your perseverance has definitely paid off. So let's talk about the table of contents here. We have lessons 1 all the way down to 20. We talk about the introduction to the era, the backdrop, the long arm of the church, Constantinople, Battle of Tours, Charlemagne, treaties. There's Alfred the Great, Otto the Great, Hugh Capet, and A Great Divide, the First Crusade, the Anarchy, Frederick Barbarossa, Richard the Lionheart, the Magna Carta, Philip the Fair, Scottish Independence, the Black Plague, and all the loose ends. And something that I was really kind of worried about, no, well, not necessarily worried, maybe more concerned, is it being too centered on Europe. And while it is the main focus of this unit, I love these meanwhile in the rest of the world sections. These are absolutely fantastic. Loved these. And it gives you a great insight into what is going on around the world. And the student pages, which I will show you in the early reader a little bit later, you can see how that is played out in their notebooks. So this is just very, very well done. Of course, you have your lesson, and then at the end, there's your vocabulary, hands-on activity, the day at a glance. So your different notebook pages and history, all of the work that they need to do, the answer keys are in here, which I really like. So I thought this was particularly good. I love that Rebecca wrote this really nice poem in here. And then the way that she has brought you into the story, it's very natural and conversational. She did an excellent job. And then the illustrations in Gather Round are absolutely phenomenal, but I really loved this particular lesson. This is such a great visual picture, and I think this is something that you could do as a teacher. As you read these different sections, you have your Jenga pieces, and then you remove these different parts, and how the Roman Empire is essentially disintegrating over time. The extension activities sound amazing. I want to do them all. And then you have New Beginnings, Justinian the Great. These spotlights are also really awesome. And as you can see, there are different brackets in here. And I love that it's just off to the side. It's not like this huge glaring thing where it draws your attention away. It's very simple and light. And then there are these amazing kingdom parallels as well. Oh, and don't forget about meanwhile in the rest of the world. So every lesson has something where it will talk about what else is going on in the world. And I really appreciated that. And again, your vocabulary for all the different levels, and day at a glance, your answers for all the different levels. This is just, it is so well done. So I'm just going to do a quick little flip through here to show you what it is like. Here's Otto the Great, meanwhile in the rest of the world. And, oh, the illustrations in here are awesome. Awesome, awesome. And this was a really good imagery as well. In here, again, you have meanwhile in the rest of the world. And I did want to show you this, the clothing. I think it is so important to know what people wore back then and explore the different reasons of why they would have worn what they wore. And these visuals are so beautiful. So, so beautiful. And they have a lot of descriptions within them. And I think there was 4 different. Yeah, so you have the peasant woman and peasant man, and then the noble woman and noble man. Love, love, love the kingdom parallel. She did so great with that. And I really like how there's also the instruments in there, and she tied this into today and what's going on in today's world and newer modern history. Map of Europe, different battles, the Magna Carta. Oops. The Black Plague. I was really pleasantly surprised at how well this was written and how it is presented. I thought she did an excellent job about this, especially since we live in a pandemic world in fall of 2022 still. I thought this was very, very well done. And then we're getting close to the end here. So here's answers. And then I did want to show you the appendix really quick. Here's some, this is a map that goes with lesson 8. And then they started putting in index. And I really love this because now you can go back and you can think, oh, what devotional was it that talked about spiritual food? Oh, I need to go to page 69. Or where was it that it talked about music? Oh, that's on page 92. Or where does it talk about Pope Gregory? Page 92. And all the different like crusades and well, not all of them, there were several, but there are the notable ones in here. You have the crusades, the first crusade, the second crusade, and third crusade. I don't think they have, yeah, okay, anyways, but this is really awesome. I'm very excited that they use the index, and then there's, of course, their resources. So really quick, I just want to show you the early reader. So quick, trying to do a quick flip through, but not quite getting to be too quick here. So there's, I wanted to show you. Oh, here it is. So like I was talking about in the teacher's guide, meanwhile in the rest of the world, even in the early reader, there's a section to relate to what we were talking about in the teacher's guide. And so this is when Islam is born, and it's telling you to color Saudi Arabia. So just tying that in and thinking about the world as a whole and making sure we're keeping up with everything else that is going on in the world. It helps kids to make those different connections and really helps them to figure out like their bearings in history. And something that I thought was really neat is well, this tea party, Japanese tea party. And then I really liked these ads and how you can make your own ad. And there's a picture study. I'm sorry, I could just look at this all day. It is so, so good. And look at this. So here's a knight, and obviously we have armor for various reasons, but also it talks about your skin and your cell membrane and your teeth enamel. And I just think that's so great because God made us to have armor. And I just thought that was so applicable. These units just keep getting better and better. So bravo to Rebecca and the Gather Around team. You guys have done an awesome, awesome job. And again, here is the rest of the world. It's so good how it's all tied in. It's like you could wrap a pretty bow around it. So here's the appendix. There's the spelling sheets. Oh, which reminds me, I didn't show you this. At the very beginning of the early reader and along with the other levels, you have your copywork pages, and I have those separate because I'm going to laminate these. And essentially you have your copywork, then your spelling, your calendar work, this week I'm working on, and your checklist. And then on the back, copywork, what day it is, and Lord, please help me to be blank today, and observations. And there are 5 of those for 5 weeks, with the assumption that you'll do 4 lessons for 5 weeks, which I would highly recommend taking 5 weeks to do these, because you want to be able to soak up all the history goodness that is in this unit, and maybe even add on another week to have a buffer for those rabbit trails. And I've talked about this before, but whoever thought of this, when you cut out whatever you need, it's always like on the bottom of what you need first, and then the rest of it's up on the top. And that's brilliant. Very smart. Same with these. So very, very well done. And then look at this. They get to make their own paper dolls. How cool is that? That's going to be so, so fun. So there is the early reader. Alrighty, here is the early elementary manuscript C work journal for the Middle Ages. In here, you will have 2 pages for each lesson, meaning front and back. On page 1, you have the copywork and recitation, as well as a spelling corner. On page 2, you have the grammar and vocabulary sections. And these are amazing. These mechanics journals are wonderful. Let me scoot this over. There we go. Hopefully you all can see this. So you have your 20 lessons, the appendix, and your scope and sequence for the table of contents there. There's always a place to put date and name. Here's your scripture and a place to write it out. Spelling. And there's always a frequently misspelled word that is in here. And there's a word bank. There's typically 4 words in here, and only 2 of them will match up with the definition provided. Do be careful to read this because sometimes it will say similar or find the word that does not match. So be careful when you're working on that. And here's the grammar and what you're going to be working on. The first thing that you need to know is that a sentence must start with a capital letter and end with an end mark. End mark is just a fancy word for period, question mark, or exclamation mark. So you identify it, you try it out by using the words here to make a sentence, and then you apply it. And then on the next day, it's still the same scripture, and then you have a word bank for your spelling. And some vocabulary, and again, working on your grammar. And for 4 lessons, the words will be the same, and then they will change up generally. I'm just looking at this and realizing this is different. Of course it would change up. I really love how much Gather Around has grown in this. So it's just grown leaps and bounds, and I really enjoy the fact that Rebecca and the Gather Around team really truly do listen to feedback, and changes are made in the next unit that comes out, which is awesome. So again, here's a cheat sheet and the vocabulary. Here's the answers, and then here's the scope and sequence, which is really great. So that is it for the Manuscript Seatwork Journal. Let me know if you have any questions. If you'd like to see any other levels, I'd be happy to show those to you. So what did you guys think about Middle Ages? Isn't it amazing? What did you like most in the flip through? Let me know down below. I don't think I can pick any singular thing out of this curriculum. Like I have said many times, I am very much a nerd, and I like reading the teacher's guides just for funsies. And this curriculum has just blown me away. And if I were to write a Middle Ages curriculum, these are the topics that I would choose. Some of them are very well known, others not so much. And I really appreciated, loved the little sections of meanwhile in the rest of the world. It's so important to tie in history to other parts of the world to gain better context, and it just gives you a fuller picture of what is going on in the world. And I can't say enough good things about this curriculum. It is absolutely amazing. You know me, I love Gather Around very much. But in all honesty, if you haven't purchased this curriculum and you want to study the Middle Ages, you need to get this. It is so good, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. So with that, I am going to stop rambling, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day. Please let me know down below if you got this unit and what you're looking forward to. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.